All right, my friends. So in this video, I'm going to go over a few things. I'm going to go over my current plan for the product launch itself, how I structure that out with a Notion template, and um, kind of me talking about my strategy behind launching this actual product because it is different than what I did before. And in the next section on social media promotions, um, it really comes down to the content ecosystem, right? Because previously I had all these sales funnels and email automations and was promoting every day on the timeline, but I make more sales by just having a high quality newsletter and posting it under my tweets every day or linking to a newsletter in a thread. That's how I've made the most sales and gotten the most conversions. So I would see it as silly for me not to actually use that as my main piece of advice is to write long form content, to go in depth more than you are shallow and promote your services along with that depth. I've gotten the most clients from podcasts. I've gotten the most sales from the newsletters and other things like that. That is the best place to sell, not necessarily on the timeline. It should be, but you can, right? You can test it out and figure it out for yourself and experience it yourself, what works best for you. But I would recommend doubling down on newsletter, tweets, and then feeding those into each other as we talked about in the bachelor's curriculum. So with the launch strategy, so a link to this is above this video, and same thing. You can go in here, you can copy all of this and then press Command C and then go to your project, create a new page. So I created launch strategy, and then you can paste it in here. So I'm just going to go over my plan for this because I'm building this out pretty quick. And so name of the product is the 2-Hour Writer. Project link, this is the project. Resources folder, none yet, but it's in my Dropbox, right? So what I did was create a Dropbox folder where I can have all the assets, where I can save like testimonials, images, featured images, fav icons, and other assets that you'll need to create. So the platform I'm going to be hosting it on is Kartra Memberships. That's the same thing as you're going through this curriculum on. And you can also use, as I've talked about before, like Kajabi, ClickFunnels, Teachable, Circle. Gumroad is the main one for free. Podia, they all do the same thing. I would pick the one that best suits your needs after some research. Spend some time researching, talk to some people, and see which one's the best one for you, right? So the core launch price, and what I mean here is what the final price is going to be. And so it's going to be $150. Why did I choose $150? Because Justin Welsh specifically has seen great success. And he mentioned this to me on a podcast, is that he prices his products at what he calls an impulse buy. Something that's not too expensive, but it's also not too cheap. So $150 is what he charges. That's what I'm going to charge. I've taken his courses. I know mine are of a similar caliber. And so it just makes sense. Like that's what I'm going to charge. No fancy thought process behind that aside from that. But if you are a beginner, I would recommend, how would you put it? If you are a beginner, I would recommend starting low and increasing from there as you add more things to it and as your offer becomes more valuable, right? So launch date, August 27th. I'm considering on pushing this back a week actually because I'm moving and I have some extra stuff that I want to put in the curriculum, so I'm going to move this back. I think. I'm not completely sure about this yet, and since we're going over this in the course, I don't think the launch date is you guys don't really need to know that. You more so need to know the strategy leading up to that, but this is just a date that I set for myself to know okay, shit, this is real. I need to start getting this done or else. And then the first time I promote, and especially the first buyer I get, that's when it kicks in where it's like, I need to build this out immediately, right? That's what really gets me going, where if I'm trying to do it day by day without a specific deadline, it's not going to get done until I set the deadline, and that deadline is real. So set a date, promote, and then you'll feel the pressure and you'll have to get it done. So sales page link, I bought the domain 2hourwriter.com. Pretty lucky there. And then member login, I don't have this yet, but I'm just going to name it portal.2hourwriter.com, which is in Kartra. So testimonials actually have both of these that I need to add in here, but I got one from Tim Denning. And all I do is, like, since I'm already friends with these people, it's as simple as, hey man, would you be able to send me 1 to 2 sentences about what you like about my newsletter, tweets, or just writing in general? I'm creating a product on XYZ. So I'm teaching people my writing process and for writing my newsletters. And I want to include you at the top of the landing page next to Justin and Ed. And they're like, yeah, no problem. They're your friends. It doesn't really matter. And so got this one from Tim. I got one from Ed this morning. And then Justin's going to send me his soon. And it's as simple as that. And this is just like preliminary testimonials that you can get, right? Because I haven't launched a writing product before, so I don't have any testimonials to transfer over, but I do have a network I can reach out to get as much firepower as I can right now from high authority people, right? And so boosts, I wrote this down for the sake of just writing it down, because I'll write a few launch threads based off of newsletters that I write, plugging the new course at the bottom and sending a lot of traffic down that way, a lot of traffic that I've captured their attention. It's not just showing up on their timeline. They're reading through and they've invested attention in me, and they're more likely to click on the product. That's why threads are so good for a product launch. But I just started writing down people that I could reach out to for them to retweet my thread, or even just comment on my thread, or even just like my thread, really any of them, right? And so what I'm going to do when I put out a thread is I'm going to send it individually to these people and be like, hey man, I have a product launch going on. I'd love any kind of engagement, whether it be engage, or reply, retweet, whatever it may be. Anything would help. And they'll do it and get more eyes on your thread, more traffic, more sales. Affiliates, I'm not doing affiliates for the launch, but if you were to do affiliates for the launch, then it's kind of iffy. It's a lot of extra work, but I would recommend it if it's a very important product to you, right? So with affiliates, you're going to have to make it very easy for them to promote to their audience. So if you can, write a short email for them as them and just be like, hey man, I'll write you an email that you can send to your list, or I'll write you 3 emails that you can send to your list, and you just use the affiliate link, you copy paste, you make sales, right? And it's usually a no-brainer for them. Or I'll write you a promotional tweet that you can post or link in your posts or something like that. Because a lot of the time is that affiliates, it's like they get 50% of the sale, right? If you set it at 50%, which is average. But the thing with that is I've experienced this firsthand, because people have offered to make me an affiliate of things, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But then if it's not the easiest thing in the world and I have to put mental energy into actually writing the promotion when I don't necessarily need the money from the affiliate sales, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to promote just for the sake of promoting, unless it's like super seamless and easy for me and it doesn't justify or it doesn't promote too much, right? It doesn't seem like I'm just promoting all of the time to my audience. So launch stages. So pre-sale, I was going to do that this week on August 6th, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to push it back. But the pre-sale, what I would do is in my newsletter, which will be backlogged and I can promote that elsewhere, is I would say at the very top and at the very bottom, I would just say, I'm launching a writing product on this date. You can get it for the pre-sale price of $95 right now. What's inside? Or what will you get? You will learn creative writing, and then you go from your marketing firepower and put like an impactful 1-sentence message, right? That makes them want to click and read the landing page. You don't need to include the entire offer there. You just need them to click on the landing page, read through, and purchase. And so it's going to be $95 up until I increase the price after the quote unquote launch. And by launch here, I mean that's when the curriculum is going to be added to the actual membership, right? And then it's going to be live. People are going to get direct access. And then a few weeks That's 1 week. So 1 week after that, I can start threatening the price increase. And all of these, every single week leading up to this, I'm including a reminder for like that the product is launching, both at the top and bottom of my emails, sometimes in the middle, right? And you can play with this. Sometimes I won't include it at the top. Sometimes I'll only include it at the bottom. Sometimes I'll send out just an email on its own and be like, hey, something super simple like, hey, the price is increasing on this date. This is the last reminder. You can get it here. Just wanted to send something in case you missed the newsletter, something like that, right? And then for bonuses, so I could give people my Make It Profitable course for the testimonials. I'm going to have the Twitter course included. I'm going to have the swipe file included. And then what I could do is I could interview someone like Justin Welsh or Ed Lattimore or Tim Denning or really anyone in my network about how they write and how they write newsletters. And then I can add that when the price increases. So I have more promotional firepower to get people to click on the page or on my tweets or just on the link in general and buy the product, right? And so leading up to this, since I've already written out an outline for the curriculum, I can start basing my newsletters and threads around that, right? And writing on the sections that are that I'm building out in the curriculum because they're fresh in my head, right? So I can create a thread or newsletter around those things, and then that's going to raise people's awareness of their problem and make them more interested in writing so that they click through and buy your product like that, right? And so upsells, downsells, this really depends on what offers you have. I can include Modern Mastery and Digital Economics inside of the course or in emails afterwards to increase the lifetime value of the customer itself. So that is just a brief overview on a simplified launch strategy for this product. At the end of the day, just promote. And then launch week, promote as much as you fucking can. That's it. That's how you make sales, is you promote. And like what you say in the tweets matters, but at the same time, it doesn't. And the scarcity of the price going up is what's going to get the most sales, more so than how good your promotions actually are. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But that is it for this video.